You know that feeling when everything just feels a bit too much? Not in an obvious way either. Not like something is wrong, but like your mind never really settles. Like there's always something pulling at your attention, even when nothing important is actually happening. And the strange thing is, it didn't always feel like this. If you go back far enough, even just to the late 90s or early 2000s, evenings, they just felt different. Imagine it for a second. It's getting dark outside. The lights in the room are low. Maybe a TV's on in the background, or music's playing softly somewhere. You're not waiting for anything. There's no one you need to reply to. No updates to check. No sense that something might be happening somewhere else that you're missing. You're just there. And the strange part is, nothing about that felt empty. Nothing felt like it was missing. It just felt slower, quieter, more contained. And if you really think about it, your mind probably felt different too. There was more space between things. You could sit with a thought a little longer. You could be bored without immediately trying to escape it. You could stay in one moment without something constantly interrupting it. Now compare that to today. Even when there's nothing happening, it rarely feels like nothing is happening. There's always something to check, something to scroll, something to respond to. And even when your phone is face down, there's often this low-level awareness in the background, like something might be waiting for you. So you pick it up, not because you decided to, not really, more because your body just does it. You check one thing, then another, then something else catches your attention, and before you realize it, you're no longer where you were a few moments ago. You've been pulled somewhere else. And the people who make smartphones and the apps we spend our time on, they know how this works. They've made billions on getting and keeping our attention. And this happens dozens of times a day, often without even noticing. It's not just that smartphones have changed what we do, it's that they've changed how our attention works. It's like we've been totally reprogrammed. I remember when the first ever iPhone came out in 2007. My brother bought one and I was about 13 at the time, and I was totally blown away by it. It was truly amazing, and the whole world thought so too. But what we never thought was what that meant for our futures and how it would possibly shape not just the way we live, but how we would feel for the rest of our lives. And we all willingly took that technology and we all ran with it without really giving it a second thought. The introduction of the smartphones, especially after things like the iPhone, didn't just make information more accessible, it made it constant. There's no real off switch anymore. Everything is always there, waiting. Messages, news, updates, entertainment, other people's lives, all within reach, all of the time. And on the surface, that's incredible. You can connect with anyone, learn anything, access almost any form of entertainment instantly. It's hard to imagine giving that up. And that's the important part. Because this isn't a simple story about technology being bad. It's not. I'm not rejecting technology at all. In fact, I love it. I still marvel at it. In many ways, it's made life easier, more connected, more convenient. But something else has happened alongside that. Something quieter. The space between things has started to disappear. That gap where your mind could just settle for a moment. That space where you could feel bored or reflective or present without immediately filling it. And without that space, your mind doesn't really get a chance to reset. So instead, it stays slightly activated, slightly on edge, slightly full. And you might notice this in small ways. You sit down to relax, but you don't feel fully relaxed. You try to focus on something, but your attention keeps drifting. You reach for your phone without even thinking about it, like it's just part of the movement of your day. And none of this feels dramatic, it just feels normal. But normal doesn't always mean healthy. And this is where it's worth being honest about something. A lot of the time, we're not using technology intentionally. We're being pulled into it. Not in a dramatic, addictive way necessarily, but in small, constant ways that add up over time. Like moments of distraction, little shifts of attention, little interruptions that slowly train your mind to expect constant input. And over time, that changes how it feels to just be with yourself. Because when your mind gets used to constant stimulation, stillness can start to feel uncomfortable. Silence can feel empty, and doing nothing can feel wrong. So you feel it again and again. And this is where the idea of hijacking starts to make more sense. Not because technology is intentionally trying to harm you, but because it's very, very good at capturing your attention. And if you're not aware of it, it can start to reshape your behavior without you really noticing. But at the same time, it's not something you need to reject completely. That's usually not realistic, especially in the modern world. And it's probably not necessary anyway. The goal isn't to go backwards. It's to become more aware of what's happening. To notice when you're reaching for your phone without thinking. To notice when you're filling space just because it feels uncomfortable not to. To recognize the difference between using something and being used by it. Because when you start to see that clearly, something shifts. You realize you don't actually need constant input. You realize that some of the moments you've been trying to escape are the ones that actually allow your mind to settle. And that slower feeling you remember, it's not gone. It's just been covered up, buried under layers of habit, noise, and constant connection. And when you begin to create even a small amount of space again, even just a few moments where you're not reaching for anything, not checking anything, not filling the silence, you start to feel it. That same quiet, that same sense of being where you are without needing anything else to happen. And it doesn't mean giving everything up. It just means being a little more intentional, a little more aware, choosing when you engage instead of reacting automatically. Because technology can be incredibly useful, but only if it's something you're using consciously, not something that's quietly using you. And maybe that's the balance. Not removing it, not rejecting it, but learning how to live alongside it without letting it take away the space your mind actually needs. Because that space isn't a luxury. It's something your mind depends on. And once you start to notice that, you don't really want to lose it again.